He told everyone I was the monster. He used the truth of what he did to me and twisted it, making me the villain in my own story. He was hunting my best friend, and I was the only one who could see the trap closing around her. I had no evidence. No one believed me. So I did the only thing I could think of. I became the one thing he could never resist, a pretty girl with a listening ear. And I let him hang himself with his own words. This story deals with intense themes of manipulation and abuse. Viewer discretion is advised. But if you believe that the ultimate revenge is not just saving yourself, but protecting others, then you need to hear this. Hit that like button, subscribe, and witness a story of courage that turned a victim into a savior. High school is supposed to be about finding yourself. For me, it was about losing myself entirely. At 14, I met a boy. Let's call him D. He was an upperclassman, charming, funny. He knew exactly how to mirror my interests and my insecurities. He made me feel special. Seen. But that attention quickly curdled into something dark. It was a textbook case of grooming. He isolated me from my friends, warped my sense of reality, and subjected me to horrific emotional and sexual abuse. He even hit me once. The world shrank to the size of his approval. He was my sun, and I was a planet locked in a toxic orbit, my own light completely extinguished. The worst part? He was a master manipulator. He convinced me to delete every text, every piece of evidence that could prove what he was doing. He made me believe it was for our privacy. In reality, he was building a fortress of plausible deniability. When I finally found the strength to break free, the abuse didn't stop. It just changed shape. He knew I was traumatized, that I could barely speak about what happened to my closest friends. So he launched a preemptive strike. He went to my friends, the ones I was too ashamed to tell the whole truth, and he told them I was the abuser. That I was the stalker. The liar. And the stories he told, they were chilling. They were detailed, specific, and horrifying. Because every single one was true. But in reverse. He was projecting his own crimes onto me. He told my friend, S, that I had blown up his mother's phone, trying to have him institutionalized. He even used a fake text app to create screenshots proving it. The reality? He had done that to my mother. I'll never forget the day I saw us at school. I went to hug her, a simple gesture of friendship. She physically recoiled. She pushed me away, her face a mask of disgust. Don't touch me, she spat. I know what you did to D. The floor dropped out from under me. It was like being abused all over again. The injustice was a physical pain in my chest. I was watching him use the exact same playbook on her that he'd used on me. The love bombing, the mirroring, the isolation. He was getting obsessed with S. I could see it. And it made me sick with fear. I was powerless. My word against his. And he was a virtuoso of lies. I was drowning, watching him prepare to drown my friend right beside me. That's when I remembered something. His tactics. One of his favorite games was catfishing. He'd create fake online profiles to bully me, to tear down my self-esteem, only to comfort me as himself, making himself my sole protector. He'd also use fake personas to extract information from me, to find out where I'd be so he could coincidentally show up. A cold, sharp idea began to form in my mind. It was dangerous. It was terrifying. But it was the only weapon I had left. If he loved using fake profiles so much, maybe he'd be vulnerable to one himself. I became a ghost in the machine. I spent days building the perfect persona. I found pictures of an obscure foreign model, beautiful, but unrecognizable. I created a whole life for her, a college student from across the country, locked out of her old account. I followed our school's pages, local meme accounts, anything to make it seem authentic. I posted carefully curated selfies and scenic photos over several days, letting the account age like a fine wine. My heart was pounding out of my chest the entire time. Every click felt like a betrayal of my own trauma. But I kept picturing S's face, the disgust she'd looked at me with, completely unaware of the monster leading her by the hand. Finally, I followed him. I left a few comments on his posts, flirty, ego-stroking comments I knew he'd crave. I was laying a trail of breadcrumbs directly to his vanity. It took less than 2 hours for him to slide into the fake account's DMs. The things he confessed to this stranger were vomit-inducing. He lied about having a sexual relationship with S, describing his vile fantasies as if they were reality. He talked about other girls he was manipulating. And then, he started talking about a lunch lady at our school. The way he spoke about her was beyond obsession. It was terrifying. He knew details about her schedule, her children. He talked about her with a possessive, frightening intensity. This wasn't just high school drama anymore. This was a woman, an adult with a family, who was potentially in real danger. For weeks, I played my part. I was his digital confidant. I fed his ego, I agreed with his lies, I collected every horrific admission like a prosecutor building a case. My hands would shake after each session, and I'd have to go for a walk just to remember who I was. I was using the very tools he'd used to break me. But this time, it wasn't to destroy. It was to protect. When I had screenshotted every last damning word, I deleted the account. It vanished into the digital ether, its purpose served. Now came the delivery. I sent the screenshots about S to a mutual friend, along with a brief, truthful explanation. The response was immediate horror. She forwarded everything to S. The next day, S came to me. The disgust was gone, replaced by tears and a profound, shaking apology. She'd blocked him everywhere. She finally saw the truth. But I wasn't done. I sent the screenshots about the lunch lady to my mom. I didn't know how to approach her directly. As fate would have it, my mom was actually the woman's hairstylist. At her next appointment, my mom gently showed her the evidence. The relief on that woman's face, my mom told me, was followed by a confession. She had been scared of D for months. She'd felt his intense, uncomfortable gaze, but had no proof. Now she did. The screenshots spread. Not as gossip, but as a warning. A truth bomb that detonated his entire social circle. The house of cards he'd built came crashing down. I didn't need to see his face to know the impact. The evidence was in the silence. The way he walked through the halls alone. The way the group of friends he'd controlled so completely now gave him a wide berth. He had lost everything. His power was gone, evaporated by his own boastful, vile words. The revenge wasn't a moment of confrontation. It was a quiet, pervasive shift. It was the restoration of reality. The justice was in S's apology. It was in the lunch lady's relieved sigh. It was in knowing that I had broken the cycle. For the first time since I was 14, I could breathe. The constant, low-grade hum of fear that had been my background noise for years, just stopped. I had taken the weapon he used to hurt me and turned it into a shield to protect others. The satisfaction wasn't sweet, it was deep. It was profound. It was the feeling of finally being believed. They say you should never fight fire with fire. But sometimes, when someone is an arsonist burning down everything around them, you have to use a controlled burn to create a firebreak. To save the forest. I didn't just get revenge. I built a firewall. If you believe that protecting others is the highest form of justice, then smash that like button. Let us know in the comments, what does true strength after trauma look like to you? And subscribe for more powerful stories of reclamation and payback.